Okay, I admit it. I was absolutely 100% wrong about the new 16-inch MacBook Pro. Hey, I'm Jerry. And yes, after everything, after all of my testing with different MacBook Pros, I ended up deciding on the 16-inch MacBook Pro with M1 Max that I had since day one. And not for reasons that are necessarily straightforward or sane or rational. But if you've been following my channel for a while, you probably know that sanity and solid rationalization are not always key decision factors for me. See, I was able to procure a 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro with the 32-core GPU M1 Max on launch day, and I put them both through their paces. I tested performance and portability, screen size and speakers, ports and keys. But after testing both machines for a full month, I came to the conclusion that, you know what? Let's let previous Jerry say it. The 16-inch MacBook Pro is such an amazing device. With its larger screen and louder speakers, it's probably the best screen period I have ever used. But the larger footprint does make me hesitate when I take this thing off my desk to go use on the couch or a kitchen table or whatever. The 14-inch is a great size that offers a bigger screen than my previous MacBook Pro while still remaining fairly portable, but it runs a little warm just in regular use. And although I don't generally hear the fans, it does bug me a bit that they're running pretty frequently. All else being the same with the keyboard and the notch and the new ports, I think that the size of the 16-inch MacBook Pro is just not what I want right now. So it's out. As far as the 14-inch with the M1 Max configuration, I just don't see the performance benefit with my workload. But what I do see every time I use it is higher temperatures and probably a hit to battery life. So it's out. I've decided to place a new order for a 14-inch 10-core M1 Pro with 16-core GPU and 32 gigabytes of memory and a 2 terabyte SSD. And I think that that will hit the sweet spot for me. Okay, back to current Jerry. So I did end up buying that 14-inch M1 Pro model, and I really loved it. So why the heck am I holding this 16-inch MacBook Pro? Well, it really comes down to two reasons. First, there's a performance difference, and I can't back this up logically or monetarily for what I need. My needs for performance are really not that great. A majority of my computer time is spent on regular office work stuff, applications like email, notes, MS Office, web browsing, Citrix, and remote desktop. None of these apps require a huge amount of performance on a daily basis. Oh, and of course I do edit videos from time to time, and now with 10-bit H.265 422 files because I upgraded my cameras. When using a MacBook Air or Pro with the regular M1 chip, or even the iMac with the M1, I would start to see performance issues with all my daily apps open and Final Cut and Pixelmator Pro, and I do believe that RAM was a limiting factor in that and was causing some of those issues. But with the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, I have not seen any delay or hesitation with my workloads at all. They both just run like butter, if butter can run. When running CPU benchmarks, the 10-core M1 Pro and 10-core M1 Max perform identically because they are the same CPU cores. When you get to graphics tests, you will start to see a difference between the M1 Pro and the M1 Max because of the amount of GPU cores. Then there are the added benefits of the M1 Max, like double video encoders built in versus single on the Pro, double the memory bandwidth on the Max versus the Pro, additional external display support, and probably some other things, but I can't remember everything. For my use, I don't really get any additional benefit from additional external display support because I generally use the MacBook with a single external display connected via USB-C or through my CalDigit TS3 Plus dock. I do get a benefit of faster video encoding, which is about 40% faster on the M1 Max versus the Pro. And 40% sounds like a big improvement. But honestly, I export videos somewhere between, 0 and 4 times per week. So the added cost really can't be justified. And no matter how much I try to rationalize in my head that I don't need the M1 Max, that there's no reason to spend the extra money, I get this irrational feeling in my gut when I was using the M1 Pro that there was something faster out there. And that nagging idea was forcing me towards the M1 Max. And as I discussed in a previous video, the 14-inch with the M1 Max just always ran hot, about 10 degrees Celsius hotter than the 16-inch. This caused the fans to be on at a low RPM almost all of the time. This, too, should not really be a concern because laptops and computers have had fans running 100% of the time for, I don't know, decades, and it wasn't a huge deal unless they were loud. But again, this irrational fear of the fans running on the 14-inch with the M1 Max was pushing me towards the 16-inch. And now the second main reason I decided on the 16-inch MacBook Pro was the size. And I know what you're thinking. I said that the size was a liability and it was too big compared to the 14-inch, and it made me hesitate when I wanted to use it away from my desk. So, what changed? After I received the 14-inch with the M1 Pro, I had to take a trip back in December. Since I knew I was going to be returning the 16-inch, I decided to take it with me just to see what that experience would be like. Now, I didn't use it on a plane or anything because the iPad mini 6 is probably the best device for watching movies on an airplane, and there's just no way that the 16-inch MacBook Pro would fit on a tray table. But when using the 16-inch at my destination for 4 days, on a couch, on a table, in a bed, I started to get used to the size. And I mean, the size of everything. From the display and the case, to even the trackpad and the speakers. Bigger is not always better, but when I didn't have a more compact laptop to go back to or switch between, the 16-inch MacBook Pro just started to feel normal. The larger screen just adds that bit of extra real estate for different windows or a larger editing workspace. And if you need things to be bigger rather than more, the larger display allows you to change the scaling without losing as much real estate. The physically larger speakers make for an even better multimedia experience when watching videos or movies, especially when watching with somebody else. And the trackpad is better for multi-finger swiping gestures. Now, the 16-inch with M1 Max is about 1.3 pounds heavier than the 14-inch, and I discussed that before in a previous video. Some in the comments were quick to point out that I was a wimp for complaining about the weight of a laptop. Or that I should look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and get inspired to lift weights or something. Or to have a baby with a maid or something. I'm not sure where he was going with that. But I will say that carrying a 1.3 pound heavier laptop around for hours on a travel day does lead to a bit more fatigue than a slimmer laptop. But I just found that the 16-inch display and the larger, well, everything, so nice to use everywhere. On my lap is good. Sitting here at this desk is good, or that desk, or that desk, or wherever I need to do some work. And yes, it can be slightly unwieldy in certain circumstances, like on an airplane tray table. But just like with most tech, there isn't one perfect device that works in each and every situation. So when I got back from my trip, I went back to the 14-inch and was, well, I don't want to say underwhelmed, maybe just plain old whelmed or something, but that was it. I was a 16-inch MacBook Pro convert. This laptop as a whole is just simply the best laptop I have ever used. It has more power than what I need for what I do on a regular basis. Now obviously, if you're a PC gamer, this may not be the best option for you. But for professionals who use software that can take advantage of the Apple Silicon inside, it's such a nice treat to have a computer that really does work as fast as you do. So, if I were to do this all over today, what I would really want to buy is the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro with 32 GPU cores, 32 gigabytes of memory, and a 2 terabyte SSD. I have a large NAS for long-term storage. Oh, and make it silver, please. I'm probably not going to go through that hassle again right now, so this gray model with 1 terabyte will have to do. But what do you guys think? Are you still struggling with the decision between the 14-inch and the 16-inch? Let me know below. This seems to be some weird, strange time of the year where I'm settling on which devices I want to use for a while, and recently went through something similar with my iPhone 13 mini. If you're interested, you should check out this video right over here. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked it, hit subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.